A pleasant day to each and everyone. Today, I, Armari Eljen Jenisan, together with my group mates, CAFÉ Mary Grace, Omo Michelle Angelo, RESMA KIZZA Marie, and SAREN KISSY, will be discussing the intricate aspects of gender roles within the family and marriage, promoting dialogue and fostering more equitable and fulfilling relationships. Let's begin. What are gender roles? Gender roles are social expectations and norms that dictate how individuals should behave, present themselves, and fulfill certain tasks based on their assigned sex. These roles are deeply ingrained in societies and culture, influencing various aspects of individuals' lives, including their actions, speech, appearance, grooming, and overall conduct. The origin of gender roles can be traced back to the early establishment of social life when survival depended on specific roles within communities. In hunter-gatherer societies, men who possessed greater physical strength took on the role of hunters and providers of food. Meanwhile, women who were physically less fit for hunting assumed the responsibilities of homemaking and food preparation. The division of labor based on physical attributes contributed to the development of distinct gender roles. Men, as hunters and providers, acquired position of dominance and authority in society and within the family unit. Women, on the other hand, played supportive roles, assisting men in their tasks and functioning as caregivers and homemakers. Over time, these gender roles became deeply ingrained and reinforced through socialization, cultural practices, and societal expectations. However, it is important to note that gender roles are socially constructed rather than biologically determined. They vary across cultures and societies, and they can change and evolve as societal norms and beliefs shift. Are there gender roles in marriage? Yes. In marriage, gender roles have historically played a significant role in defining the expectations and responsibilities of husbands and wives. Traditional gender roles in marriage often include men being the head of the household and decision makers, while women were expected to be submissive, nurturing, and responsible for managing the household. However, modern marriages increasingly challenge and transcend traditional gender roles. With more emphasis on equality, shared decision-making, and recognition of individual strengths and preferences, many couples now strive for more egalitarian partnerships, where responsibilities and decision-makings are shared based on individual abilities, interests, and circumstances. What are the gender roles in the family? Gender roles in the family refer to the societal expectations and responsibilities assigned to individuals based on their gender within the family unit. Traditionally, gender roles in the family have evolved, men being the breadwinners and responsible for financial provision, while women have been expected to take on domestic and caregiving responsibilities. However, gender roles in the family have evolved over time, and there is now greater recognition and acceptance of diverse family structures and the sharing of household and parenting responsibilities among all family members. To continue the discussion, let's have Miss Saren to help us deeper understand the gender roles within marriage.
Okay, so marriage is sacred. Marriage is what everybody fancies. It's the moment that the real life begins towards a fulfilling role in the society as a man and a woman. Let us dive into the most complicated yet amazing journey that we all will be going through. We have here marriage. in which it generally falls into one or two chapters. Partners either lean towards the traditional perspective of male as breadwinner, female as homemaker, or in other words, to be traditional in finding one's purpose. The other one is either to hold the more contemporary view that men and women are equal and have shared responsibilities. For short, to be living one's purpose based on today's agenda, current status of the world's point of view. Traditionally, a woman as a wife and a mother in a marriage is a given task to be the powerhouse. Yes, given by the fact that the mothers are the source of power, the switch. Without a mother, there will be no light to shine upon gloomy weather over the simple and little family. The second one is marriage, after all, happens to be equally shared both as a wife and a husband. In order to work as a family, just like the two legs of ours, step by step, both of them must know how to walk, to move together for them to not to fall. She must work together with her other half. That includes respecting and honoring him. In Christianity, it was stated that wives submit to your own husbands as to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body and himself its Savior. Now as the church submit to Christ, so also wives should submit everything to their husbands. The other one also is she is expected to do all the household chores such as cooking, washing the dishes and clothes or the laundry, sweeping the floor and others. Girl, woman, lady, madam, ma'am, all are expected to be knowledgeable about the household chores. That's because before women they are only tasked to do everything inside the house. They are forbidden to have contact from the outside world. Little by little, people across the globe adopted that mindset to put women to be in charge of the house. She is responsible for everything inside the house, including the budgeting of the family from her husband's salary. As a wife, traditionally she is responsible for listing all the things to buy, especially in the kitchen. The husband's salary will be used. And the last one, the two remaining last one, for the marriage, she knows what are the siblings to buy since it is her responsibility to do grocery and shopping for the children's needs. With her presence, she will take the good care of the children, from changing diapers to clothes, how to utter words, teach how to walk, keep them safe and warm. And those are the traditional, right? And about the marriage. Let's go further to the marriage, including the contemporary view. A woman as a wife is already given an all-rounder skills and responsibility. She decides what's best for the family, in which it goes with the saying that, happy wife, happy life. And lahat ng babae ay tama. In Bisaya, okay, kamo perminti ang sakto, mga babae. The other one also is, she earns money by getting any job aside from being a mother and a housewife. Women can do things what a real man can do. Numerous wives and mothers out there are actually raising families with their own abilities, even if they are single mom or not. In other words, they are only being independent. Lastly, she collects money from her husband from the grocery, including her salary. Women as wives knows everything what's needed the most in the kitchen. And that's all for the traditional and the contemporary views about marriage as a wife. And let's proceed to the man as a husband with Michelle Angelo Omo.
Thank you, Miss KISSY.
To continue, marriage is unhappy without a loyal and a loving husband. The marriage duty of a husband is to help his wife as much as he can. He is take charge of his responsibilities and do his duties religiously. In traditional, a man as a husband is given to be the foundation of the family. So here are the duties of a husband. First is, men were considered as the pillar of the home and those who provide primary care for the family, while women were expected to stay at home and take responsibility of the children, acting as the light of the home. However, a husband's primary duty in a marriage is to respect and love his wife with an unwavering and unselfish manner. The main key in having a happy, successful marriage. Next is, due to the fact that most father or husband are responsible for meeting the requirements of their family. So, he is seen as the head. He is responsible for meeting the requirements of his family. Men plays a crucial role in marriage. They are the ones who must put in a lot of effort to provide for their own food as well as funds for their wife's budget. So being a father and a husband needs a lot of effort, chance, and unwavering love in order for his family to survive. Next is, to put in another way, man has historically been seen as the head of the household, strong and driven. Husbands must sacrifice themselves for their wives in the same way that Christ did do for the church. They act as the family's boss and have some special rules and obligations that will enable his family to grow and thrive. Next, the father or husband also functions as the family's decision maker as well as the family's protector. Husband is also good in making decisions, constantly stating the key advantage and disadvantage of something and seeking the wise viewpoint. Next, men treat their wives with respect and as queen. This includes spending more time together as a family to deepen their bond and being their wife's best friend, because there is nothing more ideal than a couple who has already a lover but also be a best friend who always been there for them through ups and downs. Next is, husband provides physical, emotional, and spiritual protection to his family. He shields them physically from the danger of our world. Next is a good father who always listens to his children and always gives advice so that his children would grow to be an excellent as he is, as he should be a good role model even he is tired from work. So, he is consistently strike a balance between his profession and his relationship with his family. Lastly, he strengthens the relationship through ongoing, honest communication and teamwork. This is to lead to more trust in each other, and better trust leads to more confidence. So, in contemporary view, husbands play a significant role in a marriage or committed partnership. A man as a husband is already given an opportunity to be sturdy floor of the family. First is, he helps the wife duties at home from work, such as the household chores, based on the capabilities and preference aside from being a husband and a father. The husband helps their wife, for instance, the one who looks after their children, particularly their babies, and do some household chores such as laundry, cleaning the house, and cooking. Next is he provides emotional support to his wife, offering comfort, understanding, and listening ear. Husband actively engage in empathetic communication and work towards maintaining a strong emotional connection. Lastly, he take an active role in parenting, sharing responsibilities for child care, discipline, and nurturing. Husbands strive to be involved further, fostering a strong bond with their children and actively participating in their growth development, as well as sharing all the responsibility for molding and guiding the children. And now, I will give the virtual floor to Miss KIZZA Marie Resma.
To continue, I would like to discuss the changing dynamics of gender roles for husbands over time. Specifically, we will examine the traditional expectations placed on husband and how these rules have evolved to promote greater equality and shared responsibilities within families. So let's dive into the topic by exploring the rules of husbands before and after. So before, husbands were historically expected to be the primary financial providers for their families. So they are known as the breadwinner. They work outside the home to earn income and support their family needs. Second is decision maker. Husbands held the primary role in making important decisions. So regarding finances, major purchases, and significant family matters. They were viewed as the key decision makers within the family unit. Thirdly, authority figure. So in traditional societies, husbands were considered the head of the household, with a final say in family matters. They held a position of authority and power within the family structure. And lastly, limited involvement in domestic tasks. So husbands were typically less involved in household chores and child-rearing responsibilities. These tasks were commonly delegated to wives or other female family members. Now that we have examined the traditional roles of husbands, let's explore how these rules have transformed in modern times. So, first, shared financial responsibility. With changes in economic landscape and the increased participation of women in the workforce, husbands now often share financial responsibilities with their wives. It means that both partners contribute to the family income and participate in decision-making regarding finances. Next is collaborative decision-making. So modern families tend to make decisions collectively, with both partners having equal input and influence. So this time, husbands no longer possess exclusive authority over major family decisions, but rather, decisions are made through open communication and mutual agreement. Third is equal partnership.
The concept of an equal partnership has gained prominence, promoting a more balanced distribution of responsibilities within the family. So husbands and wives share responsibilities in all aspects of family life, including household chores, child rearing, and emotional support. And lastly, increased involvement in domestic tasks. So husbands are now more likely to actively participate in household chores and child care. So society recognizes the importance of
shared responsibilities and the value of nurturing and caregiving within the family unit. So in conclusion, the gender roles of husbands have undergone significant changes over time. So the traditional image of the husband as the sole breadwinner and the decision maker has given way to a more equitable and collaborative model. So husbands now contribute to the family's financial stability, engage in shared decision-making, and actively participate in domestic tasks. Embracing these evolving rules fosters healthier, more balanced relationships and support the well-being of both spouses and their children, So to continue, may we have Mary Grace CAFÉ to discuss further.
Thank you so much, Miss RESMA. Moving forward, let me discuss the gender roles of women in the family and how they change over time. Let's begin with the traditional gender roles of women in the family. The first one here is cook. Traditionally, women have been primarily expected to perform domestic tasks like cooking. The gender role is based on the conventional belief that women are generally more skilled in cooking-related tasks at home. As we might imagine, in traditional husband and wife roles, males were responsible for hunting and supplying the means of subsistence, while women were in charge of preparing daily meals. Vegetable and medical herb gardens are tended by women. This concept is extremely reminiscent of the hunter-gatherer lifestyle that predominated when people lived in caves. Next is housekeeper. Women run the household even though they should work. They are not required to study and must instead stay at home and perform household activities like cleaning and arranging things in the house, washing the family's clothes, and looking for the house. They must also be able to stitch, spin, and weave. Next is as a wife in the family. A woman is a man's companion, a partner, and comrade. She forgoes her personal desires and goals in order to create moral standards, reduce stress and strain on her spouse, and keep the household in peace in order. Gender roles have evolved over time, and what was considered conventional generations before may now be considered obsolete. Now let's move here in the modern gender roles of women in the family. The first one is provider. In the modern social framework, both parents work and earn for the family, and both the husband and wife have equal social standing and financial freedom. Aside from housework, the modern job of a woman is to provide financial assistance in the household by obtaining employment in higher-paying occupations, which broadens the female work outside the household. At this stage, the role of the homemaker is no longer anyone's obligation. Either partner may insist on becoming the homemaker. Next is job opportunities. In the business world, women are currently afforded the same opportunities as their male counterparts or as their husband. This is due to global and national political and economic changes and urban society that have led to the growth of export-based industries and the service sector, which has created more opportunities for women or wives in fields such as hospitality, marketing, publishing, real estate, transportation, financial consulting, trade and services, and many others. There are also situations where men and women switch roles. As a result of the woman's higher paying job, her husband may become a stay-at-home dad. Last is being one of the decision makers. Both men and women live together, taking decisions together, expressing opinions openly, criticizing and encouraging each other, and yet being independent and responsible. So on the other hand, some gender roles have remained constant over time, such as the following. The first one is as an administrator and leader of the household. A woman is essential in the preparation and serving of meals, clothing selection and care, laundry, and maintenance of the home. Next is as a manager of family income. The woman manages the family income in a simple manner. She is quite good at estimating loss and gain when it comes to spending money. She spends money on several categories such as essentials, comforts, and pleasures. Next is as a mother. She is the child's first teacher. She passes on her social heritage to the child. The infant learns the laws of the race, the manner, moral code, and the values from his or her mother or elder woman. And lastly, family health officer. A woman is responsible for the physical well-being of every member of the family. She manages the home and its activities so that each of the family member gets enough food, sleep, and amusement. So to further discuss the impacts of gender roles, let's have Miss Jenisan on the virtual floor.
Thank you so much, Miss CAFÉ. So, here are the impacts of gender roles on individuals' well-being, relationships, and family dynamics, and they are significant. Adhering to the traditional or modern gender roles can have various effects on individuals' sense of self-fulfillment, mental health, as well as on relationship power dynamics and communication patterns within marriages and family. Let's have a short exploration regarding these impacts. First, we have the sense of self and fulfillment. Adhering to traditional gender roles may limit individuals' sense of self and personal fulfillment. When individuals feel pressured or conform to societal expectations and fit into prescribed gender roles, they may face challenges in expressing their authentic selves and pursuing their own aspirations. These can lead to a sense of frustration, unfulfilled potential, and diminished overall well-being. On the other hand, embracing non-traditional gender roles or modern gender roles can provide individuals with a sense of freedom and self-empowerment. Breaking away from rigid gender norms allows for personal growth, exploration of individual passions and talents, and the pursuit of diverse life patterns. These can lead to a greater sense of self-fulfillment and overall well-being. Second would be the relationship power dynamics. So gender roles can influence power dynamics within relationships. In traditional gender roles, power imbalances may arise due to the assumption that men hold more decision-making authority and control over resources. These can lead to unequal distribution of power where one's partner opinions and needs may be prioritized over the other. Challenging traditional gender roles and embracing more egalitarian roles can foster equal decision-making and power sharing within relationships. When both partners have voice, participate in joint decision-makings, and share responsibilities, it promotes a sense of equity and mutual respect. This can contribute to a healthier and more satisfying relationships. Third would be the communication patterns. Gender roles also influence communication patterns within marriages and families. Traditional gender roles often dictate specific expectations for communication styles, with women expected to be more nurturing and empathetic, and men expected to be more assertive and dominant. These gendered communication patterns can hinder open and equal communication. So challenging these gender roles can lead to a more balanced and effective communication. By promoting open dialogue, active listening, and valuing each partner's perspectives and emotions, couples can establish healthier communication patterns. This can foster greater understanding, empathy, and intimacy within the relationships. Next would be the impact on children. Gender roles within marriages and families can significantly impact children's socialization and development. Children often observe and internalize gender roles modeled by their parents or caregivers, influencing their understanding on gender and their own behaviors and aspirations. So exposure to non-traditional gender roles can broaden the children's horizons and challenge gender stereotypes. When children witness parents sharing household and caregiving responsibilities, they are more likely to develop egalitarian attitudes and adopt flexible gender roles in their own lives. In summary, adhering to traditional or modern gender roles within marriages and families has notable impacts on individuals' well-being, relationship dynamics, and family dynamics. Challenging traditional gender roles and embracing more egalitarian roles can lead to a greater self-fulfillment, balanced power dynamics, improved communication, and positive influences on children's socialization. In conclusion, our reporting on gender roles in marriage and family highlights the complex dynamics and impacts of adhering to traditional or modern gender roles. We have explored the effects of gender roles on individuals' sense of self, fulfillment, and mental health, as well as their influence on relationship power dynamics and communication patterns. By challenging traditional gender roles and embracing more contemporary roles, individuals can experience greater self-fulfillment, balanced power dynamics, improve communication, and positive influences on their children. Ultimately, by recognizing and challenging societal expectations, individuals and couples can strive for greater well-being, satisfaction, and inclusivity within their marriages and families. We have now reached the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.